Good morning, everyone. So, in this video, I'm going to discuss to you the chapter 3 of the book Curriculum Development for Teachers, which is the Implementing the Curriculum, Module 4, the Teacher as Curriculum Implementer and Manager. Here's the lesson 1 of the chapter 3. Implementing the design curriculum as a change process. And the objectives of this lesson will be of this lesson we'll be able to define curriculum implementation. We'll be able to analyze what is change process in curriculum implementation, and we'll be able to explain the process of curriculum implementation. Before we go further for our lesson, I would like to I would like you to read this phrase. This phrase is a common that we hear from teachers and curriculum implementers. But as we mentioned, change is inevitable in curriculum development. So to be relevant, we need to change. A change for the better, and it can be obviously seen through implementation. So let's go for the definition for the curriculum implementation. And this curriculum implementation is defined by many. So for Tyler, Tabas, Seiler, and Alexander, following their curriculum models, the next step to curriculum designing is curriculum implementing. So curriculum implementation is the phase where teacher action takes place. It is one of the most crucial process in curriculum development, although many education planners says a good plan is work half done. So if this is so, then the other half of the success of curriculum development rests in the hands of the implementer, who is teacher. So according to SADSMO Africa, curriculum implementation means putting into practice the written curriculum that has been designed in syllabi, course of study, curriculum guides, and subjects. So it is a process wherein the learners acquire the planned or intended knowledge, skills, and attitude that are aimed at enabling the same learners to function effectively in society. And for Ornstein and Hankins' definition, curriculum implementation is the interaction between the curriculum that has been written and planned and the persons who are in charge to deliver it, and that is the teachers. So to them, curriculum implementation has an implication. And for Lux and Lieberman, curriculum implementation defined as the trying out of a new practice and what it looks like when actually used in a school system. It simply means that implementation should bring the desired change and improvement. So, in the classroom context naman, curriculum implementation means teaching what has been written in the lesson plan. So, implementing means using the plan or the lesson plan as a guide to engage with the learners in the teacher learning process with the end in view that learning has occurred and learning outcomes have been achieved. And for the large scale definition, curriculum implementation means putting the curriculum into operation with the different implementing agents. So curriculum implementation takes place in a school, a district, division, or the whole educational system. In higher education, curriculum implementation happens for the course, a degree program, the institution, or the whole higher education. So it requires time, money, personal interaction, and personal contacts and support. So let's go now for the curriculum implementation as a change process. Uh, we can see here the courts, live-in force field theory, and curriculum. So in this topic, we are going to discuss how court live-in force field theory explain the changes in curriculum, or how court live-ins explain how curriculum change, or what are the driving force that change the curriculum. So in educational landscape, there are always two forces that oppose each other. One is the driving force, which you can see in the left side, and one is the restraining forces, which is in the right side. So when these two forces are equal, the state is equilibrium or balance. However, when the driving force overpowers the restraining force, then change will occur. So, example number 2. Kung makikita nyo dito, yung driving force is malakas kaysa sa restraining force. So, as you can see the green arrow, magkakaroon talaga ng change yung curriculum. Pero, kung mas malakas yung restraining force sa driving force, so hindi mangyayari yung changes sa curriculum. Example dito is nag-occur na yung pandemic kasi nag-change siya kasi mas malakas yung driving force kasi makita nyo dito yung nag-occur is the government intervention. Nung nagka-pandemic, nag-ano yung government na i-stop yung face-to-face class. So ang gagawin is mag-blended learning na lang. So nag-change yung modality ng class. Imbes na face-to-face, naging blended learning. So that's the yung explanation for the driving force. Sa restraining force naman, yung nag-declare si president na i-stop yung class. So andito yun sa driving force sana yun, government intervention. Pero mas malakas yung restraining force, kaya na-stop yung yung proposal ni president na i-stop yung class. Kasi mas malakas yung restraining force. Yung restraining force dito is the fear of the unknown, na baka mawala na sa isipan ng mga estudyante na mag-aral uli pag itinigil pa yung klase. So, according to Levin, change will be better if the restraining forces shall be decreased rather than increasing the driving force. So, to go further with our lesson, these are the categories that was categorized by McNeil in 1990. So, first category is the substitution. The curriculum in this category, the curriculum will be replaced or substitute by a new one, sometimes called a complete overhaul. Example of this is changing an old book to an entirely new one. So second is the alteration. There is a minor change in these categories. There is a minor change to the current or existing curriculum. For example, instead of using graphing paper for mathematics teaching, this can be altered by using a graphing calculator. Next, number 3 categories is restructuring. In this category, building a new structure would mean major change or modification in the school system, degree, program, or educational system. Using an integrated curriculum for the whole school for K to 12 requires the primary and secondary levels to work as a team. So another example is the curriculum that will be restricted when there is a significant involvement of parents in the child instead of leaving everything to the teacher. Using the in-school, off-school, or a blended curriculum is an example of restructuring. Next is perturbations. So in these categories, these are changes that are disruptive, but teachers have to adjust to them within a fairly short of time. So for example, if the principal changes the time schedule because there is a need to catch up with the national testing time or the dean, the teacher has to shorten schedule to accommodate unplanned extracurricular activities. Number 5 categories, which is the values orientation. So in this category, perhaps this classification will respond to shift and emphasis that the teacher provides, which are not within the mission or vision of the school or vice versa. For example, when new teachers who are recruited in a religious school give emphasis on academics and forget the formation of values or faith, they need a curriculum value orientation. So, likewise, all teachers in public school undergo teacher induction program, which is a very special curriculum for newly hired teachers. So regardless of the kind of change in curriculum and implementation, the process of change may contain three elements, which is the developmental, participatory, and supportive. So as the process, curriculum implementation should be developmental in the sense that it should develop multiple perspectives, increase integration, and make learning autonomous, create a climate of openness and trust, and appreciate affirm strengths of the teacher. So next element is the participatory. So for the curriculum implementation to succeed, it should be participatory, especially because other stakeholders like peers, school leaders, parents, and curriculum specialists are necessary. Participation builds a learning community, which is very necessary in curriculum implementation. So next is the supportive curriculum implementation is required in the process of change. So material supports like supplies, equipment, and conductive learning environment like classroom and laboratory should be made available. Likewise, human support is also very much needed. So that would be the element of in the process of change. Now, time and support. Time is an important commodity for a successful change process. So time is needed by the teacher to plan, adapt, train or practice, provide the necessary requirements and get support. Time is also needed to determine when the implementation starts and when it will conclude, since curriculum implementation is time bounded. And support from peers, principals, external stakeholders will add to the success of implementation. When teachers share ideas, work together, solve problems, create new materials, and celebrate success, more likely the curriculum implementation will be welcome. And I thank you.